Here is the downside to having an electric car. I drive that electric car every single day, unless I have to go on a longer run, you know, like outside of town. I only use it for in town, or if I'm pulling the camper, then I use my Cadillac. Well, the old Cadillac's been sitting for 3 weeks. Today I had to haul parts over to the painter, so I jump in the truck and it is 100% dead. So I got Mama's car out, jumper cables, jump pack, and got it started. And I'm thinking, oh, it's been down in the 20s. More than likely the battery it's brand new, but it probably froze and it's done. So I drove all the way to the paint shop and back, which was about a 35-mile round trip. And I left it running all that time. I left it running when I was here at the shop, loading it up. And got home, shut it off, turned the key, and boy, it took right off. So, fingers crossed. So, yeah, it's always something with that thing. But I have to make a note now, every single week, I gotta start it and drive it for a little bit. At least, you know, take it around town, maybe take it on the highway and put a couple miles on it to get it good and warm and get her charged up and keep it that way. Either that or I gotta put it on a trickle charger, which might not be such a bad idea. I have a smart charger I can throw on it. I might just do that because it's not really good for them to start them and not drive a lot. You know, you drive these little things and they fill up with moisture and it just ruins the motor. So I think trickle charger. But anyway, I just got back from my quick trip with my caffeine addiction here. $1.40 a cup. You know, and I got to thinking, I spend, gee, let me do the math here. I spend $28 a month on coffee. If I buy coffee every working day. I usually on the weekends I don't. It's just work days I stop and have coffee. $28. I guess there's worse things a guy could do. You know, there's a lot of other bad habits that cost a lot more money, but coffee is not a bad habit. It's a good thing. Everybody should drink coffee. It's a good thing. But $28 a month. I spent $48 for a year of fuel for my electric car. I can drive my car cheaper than I can drink coffee. That's just nuts. Roundabouts. You know, we have, our main street's about a mile long, and we have 5 roundabouts. 2 small ones downtown, and then east there's 2 bigger ones. And if you go way out of town, about 5 miles, there's another roundabout. And if you go, well, you'd have to go quite a ways, 10 miles to find another one. But in the general area, we have 9 of them, just in town here. And I love them. I think they're the greatest thing invented, if you know how yield signs work. People stop. I can't believe it. There's a car coming and it's 90 degrees away from you and it's turning in, sure, and you're there too. Well, just keep going because you're already separated by 20 feet. He's not going to hit you. You'll just go around the corner, you know. But people will stop and then cars pile up. And they'll sit there and they'll sit there and they'll sit there until there's no traffic. Even traffic come from the other end, which there's no way they can run into you. They'll sit there and wait until the whole circle's clear and then they'll pull through. So it's a little frustrating at times. When will I ever learn? Unplug the air compressor before you do anything speak-wise. Anyway, as I was saying, it can be, I'm actually going to sit on the corner someday and just video people doing dumb stuff in roundabouts. But I still like them. I barely ever stop. It's kind of fun to see how fast you can go through them, really. On a motorcycle or my Trikes, yeah, I really try to kind of push it through them. It's fun. You know, it's kind of like when they put that radar thing where it shows your speed. You try to see how fast you can go. Actually not. You kids do that. I would never consider, never. Anyway, that's my driving rant for today. You know, doesn't really bother me that much. But, you know, one subject that comes up a lot on YouTube now is Harley Davidson's going broke. Polaris is going broke. Sales are way down, which I suppose they are. I think sales on cruisers and tour bikes are actually going down. You know, it's hard to say what's going to happen with the future. What I'm seeing a lot of interest in now is adventure bikes. A lot of guys in their, I'd say 40s to 50s, they get, they're going like the BDR, which is the Back Roads of Discovery in Oregon. You know, they'll do the BDR routes and they'll do the back road, really tough roads and stuff. And that's a big deal in moto camping, where they'll ride out to some desolate area and camp out for the night. And that kind of stuff. I'm seeing kind of a uptick in that kind of thinking. I think young couples are leaning more towards sport tour, you know, BMWs, that kind of thing. I think it was a wise move for Honda to slim down the Gold Wings and make them a little bit on the sportier side, even though a lot of guys don't like it. They are trying to appeal to a changing audience, I guess I would say. But you know, I've been watching, well, it's kind of funny. I got to bring this up. This summer, one day, I was going out to the golf course, and there was a baseball field right next to the golf course, and there was a guy, they were leaning trike. And I thought, wow, I've never seen one of those outside of a show or something. You know, I never see him on the road. So I stopped to talk to him. I didn't tell him I build trikes or anything. I just stopped and said hi. I was on my golf car, and said, gee, how do you like your leaning trike? And he goes, oh, he loved it and all this. And he said about 40 times, I bet, it's the future of motorcycles. The leaning trike is the future of motorcycles. And I'm thinking, no, the leaning trike was a dead idea 50 years ago when Harley Davidson was screwing around with it. And they dumped it. Can-Am did the same thing. No, the leaning trike is not the future. But I tell you what I think is the future of motorcycles, really. I've been watching some of these things on Archimoto. If you don't know what Archimoto is, it is basically a Can-Am Spider, but it's electric. And make a couple of different versions. They make a roadster version, and they make one that has a frame, like a roll cage, that you can enclose. So then it's basically, it's still a motorcycle because it's got handlebars and you sit one person in front of the other. But it's kind of a auto cycle, I guess, when you do that, in a way. It's still classified as a motorcycle. But they're made in Oregon, which is a good thing. And God, they're getting kind of a lot of good press. And I guess I just watched one deal. I'll put a link in the description on a test that a couple did. The only thing wrong with their assumptions was they're not motorcycle people. You know, when they say they drive motorbikes, you know, I suppose they drive scooters and small motorcycles and stuff. So it's still a pretty good interview. But I've seen other interviews and the people just say they are fun. In fact, they call them FUVs. Now, SUV can stand for two different things: sport utility vehicle or stupid useless vehicle. I think they're kind of leaning toward the stupid useless vehicle now because of the poor fuel economy. But, you know, I can change too. But FUV, I thought, God, yeah, FUV, that's a clever, fun utility vehicle. And that was the big thing. The big thing is they're just a lot of fun to drive. And it's interesting. But I actually do think, and I was working on the Zener, which is a electric trike that I'm working on. And I've got the batteries in it and everything, but I'm having some battery issues, so it's stored away for the winter. I'll ding with it next year. But I've been working on that for a couple of years off and on. You know, the big thing with the trike is you can double your battery capacity. You know, so a lot of these, like the Livewire, which is Harley Davidson's spin-off company, live wire, and my oldest son has a 0, and he says 90 miles is pretty legitimate. He can do 90 miles traveling on his, which is good, for chasing around and stuff. That's good. Everybody says, oh, you got to have 300, 400 miles. No, you don't drive 300 miles every single time. For chasing around, they're great. That's fine. But you could double that almost by adding extra batteries, in the front. And battery technology is going to get so much better. You'll see, well, in fact, the Aptera, they're looking at 1,000-mile range. And I have one of those on order, so we'll see. But anyway, it's just worth looking at some of this stuff. It's just, people come up with ideas and it's fun. I got a request today to do an ice edge trimmer. When the Zamboni goes around the ice rink, it leaves about 4 inches where it forms like a hump. And they want that shaved off. And my neighbor says, can you come up with an idea, something we can run around the rink and shave that 4-inch ledge off of there. So I said, yeah, I'll see what I can come up with. I've got some ideas. It's going to have to be battery operated, because they're not going to want to run extension cords around the rink, and you don't want to have a gas engine running inside the building. So it's going to have to be battery operated of some kind, but I will come up with something. That's the excitement at the old home front. I am going to do a video here in just a second. As soon as my coffee's cool enough where I can drink it, I'm going to do that because that's mandatory. And then I'm going to do something I haven't done yet, which is dismount a gold wing rear tire. It's one of them cement radials, so it's going to be fun. And we're going to see how my tire changer device handles it. So we're going to take the tire off, put a tire on, and put it on 99 here. And when I get that done, she is 100% roadworthy. I got antifreeze in it, got that all done. Everything's done. Back brakes are done. I just have to put a tire on it, and she's history. And the painter's got all this stuff. He's going to have it done next week, which is perfect. So tomorrow, I move across the room here to the other bike, and we'll start doing body panels on that guy, because I want to get that one ready for paint. So when he calls and says he's ready, we'll just do a swap. That'd be awesome. And then I've got the Vision. I got a Victory Vision that I'll be working on. And that one I'm going to do solo, because it's the only one I got coming in yet. So that one I'm going to focus on, and yeah, I'm going to have to refresh the old memory cells because I've only done 2 other ones. So I got to make sure that I stay tuned in on what I did on those. It's going to be a little more of a complicated build. So anyway, I'm going to cut this one off. That's enough of this. And then I'm going to do another video on the old tire change Runo. We'll see if it's a success or just suck. Hopefully it's the success part.